Hey, Don, welcome, man.
Yeah, great. Uh,
Yeah, we just
uh,
connected
uh,
like not
uh,
too long ago, and we took the same program through Draper University's Fundamentals of Entrepreneurship, which is a phenomenal program. Both you and I agree. Uh,
that was awesome.
yeah,
The tutorial and those people coming to teach us about how to start a business, they are phenomenal.
yeah, no, Draper is
And actually, I recommend everyone to be at Draper University to start the fundamentals of entrepreneurship.
absolutely. I got so much value. Like I've gone through Founders Institute, Startup School, online version. Draper was super intense. I got so much value.
Absolutely.
I'm still going through my notes. I share the notes with my friends within reason. I don't share the whole content, but a phenomenal program.
And it's like the point is the obviously how they will just take each participants to go through its project work and try to evaluate and try to select people to give them some kind of maybe seed capital to start is awesome.
Yeah, no, like I mean, the Draper brand is so strong, man. From like started with Hotmail, then going into like so many businesses, and it's about the values too. I kind of like I don't know anyone personally, but I just feel like he's like Tim Draper is a really good guy. He's just like he's a very open guy. You know, he's very like open. He supports entrepreneurs from across the world without any
Of course,
Middle East,
absolutely.
from North America, from Africa, from Asia. Just a wonderful fellow, based on what I can tell. And
Yes, yeah,
so, and it
it's
shows,
absolutely wonderful.
and it shows when you do like when you start a like an online education platform, it shows. So yeah, that's how we met, and like I've been reading up on your LinkedIn profile, so you have at least a decade's worth of experience, if not 7 or 8 years, directly working in the healthcare system, primarily in Ghana.
Yes,
So you did
yeah, in Ghana, primarily in Ghana.
right. So you worked as an analyst for 7 years, almost 8 years, and then you did some work with HIV and AIDS coordination. You did that for
Yes,
4.5 years.
yeah.
So hey, man, props to you, man.
Thank you,
You
thank you.
know,
Actually, uh, and basically the reason why even I got that kind of coordination is like during my university where I was doing medical laboratory technology. It's like that was my project work, and it's like we do have what we call who who brief. Who
okay.
brief is they have some kind of uh, quality of life indicators which include physical, social, psychological. I think there are six quality of health indicators. So that's what I do my project work. So those questionnaires, you send it to HIV patients and they will just answer it. And for instance, you evaluate what quality of life affects them most. Is it physically, is it mentally, or is it socially? So basically after the work, and I was at the municipal health directorate. So it's like, hey, my director asked me to do the HIV coordination, and like we've been doing a lot, know your status campaign, and try to go to the communities to advise them that, oh, this is a disease, normal disease as somebody having cancer or maybe diabetes. It's just a matter of sticking to your medication and just follow some simple treatments and you'll be fine. And basically, there are many people who come to advocate for HIV because they have been with the disease for about 20 years and they look fresh, they look alive, and it's always giving them motivation that, hey, this is not the end of life. There is so life ahead. It's just a matter of a disease. Yeah.
For
So
sure,
I
man.
enjoy being there.
Yeah, for me as a kid, like I used to watch a little bit of basketball. So Magic Johnson was the first time I actually heard about HIV. Like it
Mm-hmm.
kind of went in my brain, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is HIV. And everybody was talking about Magic Johnson got the virus, right? So I mean, I look
Yeah,
forward to a world in the future where we like can wipe out all of these ailments. These this is like nasty, like we don't need these diseases.
of course.
Right. So I that was the first time I heard of it, and we've been looking at statistics recently. We are also focused on. We're in the same, like we have the same goals. We want to see healthcare actually rolled out across the world. So now they should
Of
start.
course. Of course.
We
Yeah.
should
And
start.
uh, basically that's what, like traditionally I'm data analyst. So I've
Yeah, it was
been analyzing clinical data, public health data, and laboratory data, just to make some inference out of the data. And picking up the data, what's that concerns me a lot is about this parental health, and it's like about 195 women dying during pregnancy or childbirth, and about 2.5 million newborns did not reach their 28 days across the globe. So it's like, I find it so, what is happening? And during reviews, most of these kind of deaths are happening in developing nations like Sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia that has the higher cost of maternal deaths. And basically it's due to inadequate quality of healthcare and poverty, basically. So, in the event of blockchain technology, whilst there is some kind of distributed ledger technology, it's like, can we just decentralize this kind of healthcare system? Because guess what, many women go to antenatal care without even knowing their healthcare interventions that they have to take. So it's more or less the service providers that tells them, oh, this is what you have to take. But we have to let this kind of women take control of their health. As like, for instance, if they are coming to the healthcare, they need to know, okay, today I'm taking folic acid, today I'm taking this, today I'm taking, as well as their case. So if you have a system whereby maybe the service providers will monitor each pregnancy, and the women are also aware of what they have to take in order to come out with a successful pregnancy, then I think those deaths will be reduced. And basically,
wow, okay. Wow,
yeah,
that's you should write this down, man. Because we were talking before this call, and you were explaining to me, and we'll talk about your venture in a second. I want to go back to the work you did. I want to go to your story because I think that's very important. But what you
great.
just said, it just clicked in my brain. You know what I mean? And it just clicked in my mind what you said. So you're looking at a systematic mechanism of ensuring that uh, women, right now, women have historically, women have raised children. Now it seems to be changing with the advancement
Yeah,
in
of
medicine.
course.
But let's say whoever's raising the child, they are taking care of the child with regards to whatever's they're going in their bodies, in their minds, in their environment, will lead to a better outcome in terms of the.
Yeah,
How do
great.
you see it?
And that's awesome. Look,
Is it
for instance, let's say
is it
some
pre? No,
a
sorry.
certain woman, let's say a certain woman is taking some kind of maybe healthcare interventions. The person is pregnant. He traveled from United States up to maybe another country. How will we make sure that this kind of woman have taken all the pregnancy interventions? There is no system to track that. So basically, if that woman is not able to expatiate that, okay, I took this medicine, I took this medicine, there is a matter of, okay, let's repeat that medicine. And duplication of medication can also result into death. So that is why decentralized prenatal care is so very crucial at this moment.
So why? I guess I have a couple of questions. I don't think I understood that correctly. So you're saying that we need to be able to track in like increments with regards to what's going on with the pregnancy, that people are moving and we can track it across the borders. Is that like one of the things?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, from one facility, from one health facility to another health facility,
Uh-huh.
especially in those places that the deaths are occurring most, Sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia, they do with paper-based records. And basically, those women have their maternal or child health report cards. So let's say maybe that woman is traveling from this town to another town. Maybe it's not coming back. And
Hmm.
basically maybe mispraises her child record or the maternal health record cards. And excuse me to say, most of them are not literate to figure out that, okay, I went through this kind of services whilst I was in my hometown. So how would the service provider try to continue the care of the patient whilst he's away? And I think the decentralized system will enable the service provider to say, oh, yes, this person got this kind of medication at this time, and this is how we have to continue.
Okay, sorry. Something went off on my computer. That was the sound. If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
hearing that,
Oh, that's
just
fine.
ignore it. Okay, so I understand what you're saying. Basically, the records are in a paper-based format. So if somebody moves, then there's no trail. And
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, and so if so, there's no adequate way of capturing what's really going on with the pregnancy. Now,
Of
if I
course.
okay, all right, yeah, I should clarify that that's really what we are talking about. Now, the whole focus is towards reducing. Help me understand, or help me say the word prenatal or pre. Is it
Prenatal.
prenatal?
Your prenatal is just weeks from the onset of pregnancy till about few weeks after the pregnancy.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's 4 weeks.
the period. Yeah, the period, maybe about 4 weeks, or as soon as the woman identifies that he's pregnant, those period up to childbirth, let's say about 28 days of childbirth,
Yeah,
they are all prenatal period.
I got you.
So we are just trying to find ways and means to monitor the healthcare interventions within this kind of period and see if pregnancy, if deaths, child or maybe women, the deaths will reduce as a result of trying to closely monitor the healthcare intervention, irrespective of whether the woman travels or not. Because, you know, as a healthcare data analyst, what I just realized is, you know, most health facilities deals with coverages, not actual data sets. If I talk about coverages, let's say 100 women went to antenatal care, so they will register them as registrants.
They went for what? Sorry.
Antenatal care or prenatal care.
Oh, prenatal care.
Maybe
Yeah.
Prenatal care.
Yeah.
So let's say 100.
Just so we understand, we like just dumb it down for me. What is so prenatal?
Yeah, prenatal care is before childbirth. All the
Okay.
all the health intervention
So
from pregnancy to childbirth. All these processes are prenatal care.
okay, so that would include
So
like training on how to become mothers for both the partners.
yes, and also
Nutrition.
the healthcare interventions like folic acid, vitamins, and all those kind of things, or maybe if it requires immunization like tetanus or something.
For the mother.
So let's say, yeah, for the mother.
Yeah, okay.
For the mother before the pregnancy, before delivery.
Wow. Okay.
So let's say 100 women.
Let me understand. What is folic acid? What is it useful for the development?
Yeah, folic acid is a medication for the pregnant woman, just to boost metabolism and the immune system for the child to come out successfully. It is WHO recommended healthcare intervention.
Okay.
And it is a must. It is a must for every pregnant woman to take folic acid.
Okay.
So, like I said, let's say 100 women went to a certain health facility. So those women are registrants. So if you want to talk about coverage, you will say 100% coverage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, people ignore the data set, the actual quality of health. So if that pregnant woman comes to the facility and that pregnant woman does not receive, maybe for instance, folic acid,
okay,
we don't say that there is 100% coverage.
I just moved.
Or let's say that woman, or let's say that woman supposed to check for hemoglobin at registration. Let's say that woman is supposed to check hemoglobin at registration.
Okay.
So during registration, most of the health facilities doesn't have instruments to check for hemoglobin. So we don't say that we have 100% coverage. because the actual service that the woman needs is not met. So that's why the project is trying to make sure that every single pregnancy receive the maximum health intervention as proposed by World Health Organization.
Okay, I'm starting to understand where you're coming from. Because obviously, when we were doing this, sending back and forth messages, that doesn't
Okay,
explain, this
it's
is so much
true.
more richer, like to be able to understand. So basically, there's a set of problems that stand in the way towards getting to like a healthy delivery.
Of course,
And this depends on where you look in the world. So
of course,
a country like Canada would have the necessary instruments and the institute,
absolutely.
right, to make sure that the pregnancies are safer and more healthier. Whereas, like you're saying, in sub-Saharan Africa, maybe even parts of China, India, Pakistan,
Yeah,
Indonesia, Philippines,
those developing countries.
yeah, the instruments may not exist. Like you're saying, the means to deliver the hemoglobin globin may not exist, or the right. There's a set of things that are required from an education perspective. You mentioned like 6 areas. I was trying to Google it. I'm not very good with multitasking, but do you
Mm.
know? Like, I don't want to put you on the spot, but like,
Of course.
like it goes back to one of the 6 areas, like you were saying, and those 6 areas kind of branch out into many areas.
Oh yeah, it's true. Like I said, that was I was explaining the WHO recommendation for like how to assess quality of life of HIV patients. That was a different discussion. But like I said, we have World Health Organization recommended health interventions for pregnant women. And like I said, most pregnant women go to the health facility and they don't get all the healthcare interventions. So as a result, it may result in maternal or newborn death. So we want to find a system to track every pregnancy to make sure that all the recommended healthcare interventions for the pregnant woman are met.
Yeah, that's a very succinct description where you just said, I would also write that down because that looks like that could be your mission statement. What you just said right here. It's a good thing
Yeah.
we're recording this. So at the 28, 50-ish minute mark, you said something that to me sounds like that could go right in the middle of your website, maybe your mission statement, because that really very, very clearly captures what you're trying to do. Okay, so
Great.
let me like so now you're in the United States. Originally, you said you're
Yeah.
from Ghana, and you moved to the United States at some point, and you have a bachelor's in clinical laboratory science and medical technology, as well as
Yeah.
you have another degree in the Associate of Science in Health Information, Medical Records Administration,
Yeah.
and then you've done some continuing education with more recently with COVID. So
Oh yeah.
you've been taking
Yeah,
some courses.
actually.
I'm a huge
Yeah,
proponent. I'm a
I
huge
like
proponent of
again like
Coursera.
a laboratory personnel. I just have to be have knowledgeable about the disease and the rest.
Yeah, for sure. And I was saying I'm a huge proponent of Coursera because I think everyone should just go to Coursera now because everyone's taking online classes
Yeah, of course, you just have to upgrade yourself. Try
yeah,
to know what is happening.
all the time, man. Every day. I try to read something every day.
Mhm.
I'm reading a lot of Brian Tracy right now. So uh, the, this is a great Brian Tracy.
Oh,
Yeah, I love
yeah,
Brian Tracy.
Brian Tracy. Maybe I have to get one.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
the Draper book, that was a gift to all of
yeah.
the students. That was phenomenal. So
Hmm.
I don't know, something about Brian Tracy. I really like how he writes, and like the books are really short reads and digestible. Anyway, so okay, so yeah, background in data analysis, project management, and obviously working directly in the healthcare industry. I guess what I want to talk now, and if I may, is like your personal story. You don't have to share your deepest kind of thoughts and all your personal history, but I'm trying to like understand, if I may, like you grew up in Ghana, which is on the west coast of Africa.
Yeah, on the west coast of
Okay.
Africa.
Yeah, I have a map right here. I looked it up prior to calling you. So yeah, it's like not too far from like Nigeria, South.
Nigeria. Yeah, we share borders with Cote d'Ivoire on the, I think, on the east, and on the west, like we have Togo, and the north Burkina Faso,
Yeah.
and the south the sea.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. How are the beaches there? I guess is my question, because you are on the
Oh,
Atlantic.
they are great.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they are the downside of Ghana.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, I can only imagine. I've never been to Africa, so I wonder what the Atlantic
Maybe,
looks like on this.
yeah, one of the days you have to visit.
So definitely on my list, man. I love watching. There's a YouTuber. This is slightly off topic.
Mhm.
Anyways, I forget his name right now. He just keeps coming up in my feed, but he goes all over Africa. His wife's from China.
Uh, uh, I think Wade Maya or
But Dave
something.
Mayo, that's the guy. Yeah, yeah, something like
Yeah,
that. So,
yeah.
and in general too, I love learning about different, like Namibia is very interesting with the Himba tribe there, and man, so much diversity in Africa is what I'm saying. I'd love to go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just like, if I could live indefinitely, I would just go to every country and spend a couple of months there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, you need to sometimes diversify and try to learn many cultures, and try to, wherever you are, you just learn few things and try to bridge your life. In that case,
Absolutely.
you can sustain anywhere.
Yeah, I think you just said something really profound, because when I look at, I think the cultures like Himba are very simple. I'm pretty sure there are many other cultures like this around the world, not just in Africa.
Mhm.
But man, it's such a simple life, and they're very
Of
happy.
course.
They just eat porridge. Somebody like asked a
Mhm.
Himba lady in the tribe, like, what would you like more of if you had more money? She said more porridge, and I was like, man, we've got our priorities wrong. I'm not judging, right? I'm not judging anyone living in another part of
Oh,
the
of course, I do understand.
But her answer was so simple. I was like, I was like, wow, I gotta go and visit this place. Anyhow,
Mhm.
so tell me about yourself. Like, so you grew up in Ghana, right? You went.
Yeah, I grew up in Ghana, and like my LinkedIn profile states, basically my high school didn't come on the LinkedIn, but I went to a school called uh, Sunyani Senior High School, and I took a science program. So later I went after high school, I went to a college to do health information technology and management. That's associate degree. Then after that, I came to serve for about, I think, 3 years at Ghana Health Service, whereas I was a health information manager or officer at a municipality.
Okay.
So from there, I went to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology to pursue medical laboratory or clinical laboratory science, just to, like, as definition goes, try to laboratory test, try to find out what is wrong with people, for the clinicians to take decisions on that. So then after that, and after doing my services, I get an opportunity to come to the United States. Yeah, actually, basically, I just came to Yale University to do some kind of presentation, and basically, I found my wife here, and it
Wow.
got me settled.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
it got me
Okay.
settled, and and because I'm data analyst, and like I said, I look at all aspects of health information. But the one that strikes my mind is, like, every life matters. So if, as a result of some kind of healthcare interventions for which pregnant women are not getting, and as a result, it's huge number for uh, about 2.5 million newborn. They don't reach the age of 28 days and they die.
Every year.
And basically, 2.5 million is more than COVID-19 pandemic. But it seems it's like, you know, one thing about healthcare problems are that it's only small number of people, like the health workers or people who are interested to research into health, that they got to know these numbers. But if you think of 2.4 million babies dying every year, it's more than COVID-19. And if it's just a mere matter of healthcare interventions, I think with the blockchain technology and distributed ledger technology, where you can track every data, then I think I thought of, okay, I think every woman want to survive. Every child has the right to live. And we have people who are advocating for maternal and newborn health. So why don't I bring the ideas out? It's not a matter of me trying to achieve it, but even if majority of the people comes together for us to achieve that, to reduce those kind of deaths, I think is crucial. And that's why I come out with this kind of ideas. And basically, like I said, I'm developing it and I need the community support to just bring out the clear vision and try to know the roadmap to achieve that kind of goal.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. No, yeah, that's like, I, so that's 2.5 million per year. Wow. So that's like a country, this like a smaller country, maybe in Europe. That's the size of a small country in Europe, because
Of course.
uh, I don't know, like maybe not Greece, but something like Macedonia or Hungary. These are small countries, and there's probably 2 to 5 million people there. So that's how many. So
yeah, so basically, it's like wiping a country away.
Yeah, every year.
For which, you know, sometimes it's disheartening because it's like it's not the fault of the pregnant woman. So we have to try to analyze why is it that the pregnant women are not even attending antenatal care? And most of the from WHO cause of this kind of deaths is inadequate quality healthcare services, and also maybe poverty. And that's why even in the kind of maybe the project, there is some kind of tokens, because the point is, you know, it's not a matter of if I don't get money, I'm not accessing healthcare. It's a matter of trying to appreciate the woman for taking care of herself and the unborn child.
Okay.
You know, and for to also reward these service providers by trying to make sure that all the healthcare interventions are received by the pregnant woman. And they'll be able to figure out, for instance, if the woman goes and there is no healthcare intervention, for instance, inadequate supply of maybe medicine, then they'll be able to jot it down. And all the people, all the community on the protocol will be able to know that, okay, this woman did not receive this kind of intervention simply because it wasn't available. And how best can we make it available? You know, and I think that's why it needs community support to achieve that kind of aim.
Yeah. So well, the one thing I wanted to share with you is a book. It's called The Better Angels of Our Nature. I don't know if you've read this book. I have not read this book, by the way. I skimmed through it, and I definitely looked at all the I like pictures. So I looked at the graphs. There were a lot of graphs in this book. It's by Steven Pinker. He's from I think he's from MIT. He's on the East Coast. I've never met him, but he had a trend whereby he showed prenatal deaths. The prenatal deaths are lesser versus what they were 10, 15, 20 years ago. And that's because,
of course,
yeah, it's all this, the ongoing set of innovations that.
Yeah, population increase.
Yeah, so well, things are getting better, but still, you know, the numbers are significant. We're still looking at.
Oh yeah, actually, if you look through from 1990 up to now, there has been some substantial decreased. Even this neonatal deaths was about 5 million and over, and now it is being reduced to 24.
Yeah.
Left with me alone, there is no neonatal death. But death is inevitable. But we can do something.
What's neonatal? What's neonatal?
Neonatal is like a baby.
Okay.
A baby.
Okay, so it's baby.
Yeah, neonate is freshly born baby from maybe 0 day up to 28 days. That period is neonate.
So prenatal and neonatal overlap. Prenatal starts at some point during the pregnancy. It goes on till
actually the whole period from the onset of the pregnancy to about 3 weeks is perinatal. The whole period.
Yeah.
And talking about the woman in pregnancy is prenatal. And after childbirth, the woman is called postnatal.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah. So
but the baby from 0 up to 28 is neonatal.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So the broad picture is perinatal, and that's why I caption it to be like perinatal care. It's like right from the onset of pregnancy up to a few weeks after delivery, many healthcare intervention goes to reach a successful childbirth.
Gotcha.
So the project aims to make sure that all those kind of healthcare interventions are given to the pregnant woman and the child.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like I said, I try not to multitask, but because you mentioned blockchain, and thanks for that explanation. I'm a visual kind of guy, so we didn't plan a lot for this talk. It would have been,
of course, I do understand.
We can do like a presentation, and we can bring some data from WHO, or maybe you have some data, and put it together in a slide so that anyone who else may be watching it, even for myself, I can remember that picture. I'm like, starts here, this is the phases, ends here, then another system begins, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I want to transition now to because you are thinking of blockchain, and this is something I'm still learning about. I read this book. It's called the Blockchain Revolution.
Yeah.
And it's written by father and son team of the Tapscots. Can I share it on the screen?
That's awesome.
Okay, can I share it with you on the screen? Show you?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, this is the book I'm referring to. And I didn't read the whole book, but I read like 50-60% of it. And this really made me start to appreciate the benefits of this technology, even understand what this is, right? So I started in information technology like when I was 17, and always pretty much gone with like a client server model, right? And then the cloud came in around the 2000s. So now everything moved to the cloud with AWS and Google and Oracle and whatnot, Microsoft.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so this is a very interesting phenomenon now. Basically, what we're saying is we can take data. I'm going to try and explain blockchain. And basically, you take a data set, instead of hosting it on the cloud or on your machine, you break the components down, kind of like BitTorrent, and you spread it out across many computers. And the transactions that happen with regards to how these different computations are happening, the ledger is written across the board. So everyone has a copy of what's going on, or most, depends on how you structure the blockchain. But most,
it's true.
So most people have a copy of what the ledgers are, so that there's like, it tackles things like, there's like so many benefits, liquidity.
Actually, the reason why I'm so much concerned about this kind of technology is like, we are now coming to live in the world of trustworthiness and transparency. Because even looking at this kind of healthcare that we are talking about, if maybe a service provider maybe writes that they give you this kind of medication, or even if that kind of medication cause some kind of complications, that person can even lose that kind of folder, or maybe try to delete that kind of information from the computer. But because, for instance, maybe it is distributed ledger technology, I mean, maybe blockchain technology, many people are on the protocol. And as soon as you just type that kind of information, it is immutable. So if maybe there is some kind of medication error, you cannot come and say, oh, I didn't do this or I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And that makes it so very phenomenal.
Yeah, so in this use case, the pharma is going to be on the line. They couldn't go back and delete that data on a computer saying, oh, no, you're allergic. We're starting with something more benign, like allergic reaction.
Yeah.
Your allergic reaction is due to ragweed or something in the environment. It's not because of
course.
No, there's 1,000 more other people saying the same thing. There's got to be something here, right? So at the very least, we want companies to take ownership of stuff they're doing, but potentially.
Yes.
But on the flip side, when I started going through this book, I realized that you can set up blockchain in different ways. You could set it up to be like private or public, or a combination of private and public. And you can
hybrid
on how you set up contracts, or how data is flowing between these different realities. So, for example, let's talk about your company. What's your company called, by the way? What are you thinking of calling
it? Mango.
No, what your existing startup? Do you have a name for it? Like, what is the name?
Coinbarn. COIN.
Yeah.
BAIRN.
Okay, COIN
Coin. BAIRN. Yes.
Should I bring it up here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So. Okay, so this is your website right now. Why did you call it Coin Barn or Bairn? How you say it?
Yeah, actually, a barn is a baby.
Okay.
And Coin is like, I just took like the incentive aspect of the project, just to try to incentivize service providers and the mothers to bring a successful baby, you know what I mean? So I think basically that is how it comes from. But it's like it's not it depends. Like I said, I need advisors and communities, and if it's not appropriate to even name it like that, the concept remains. Yeah.
Well, hey man, I say props to you because you've launched. You know what I mean? We're working in the healthcare space, and we have our goal is to make money in the space industry and invest it back in the healthcare arena. Because I personally don't need a lot of money to live. I want to live a good life, but I don't want to, I don't know what to do with a lot of money. So I think it's best to, I've seen a lot of people struggle around me with mental health and addictions and physical diabetes. And I just, looking at the world, I was just talking to this girl last night from the Philippines. She's like, I can't afford therapy. So I was like, okay, there's a lot of people like that in the world. So what I'm saying is, that's our goal. Anyways, not to talk about us, I say props to you for launching. That's a great first step.
Thank you.
Your website's going to change right now. You have a contact us section. You explain what the initiative is, and we expanded on a lot of that in our talk. But yeah, like what would you like to elaborate on it? With regards to how this incentive, particularly this incentive structure, is to encourage mothers to take care of themselves so that the pregnancy is going to be better.
Yes, actually, and basically try to also know their healthcare interventions, because the point is, most people does not even complete their healthcare interventions. So as a matter of trying to complete all the recommended, the World Health Organization for maternal and newborn death. And this kind of, that includes even child vaccinations, because child vaccination, you know, from one stage to another stage, there's child vaccination till the child is about 5 years or ago. So basically, if this becomes mainstream, so psychologically, oh, if I have to complete, you know, there is so many apps. There are many apps. I saw some app called, I think, Sweat app. You run. It's like you run and get tokens. So
Okay.
more, yeah, yeah. For instance, more or less, they are promoting weight loss.
Okay.
So you might have the app, maybe sweat, run and sweat, and as your points are going up, then they can give you rewards for training. So basically, it's a matter of giving rewards for mothers who complete all their healthcare interventions. And I think
That
it was some kind of motivation.
okay. That sounds very interesting too. I would also write this down. So at the 52-minute mark, something around that, what you just said, that sounds very interesting because it's about the right incentive structure. So you could build that as part of your mission or have it as one of your main bullets. If I may
Great.
say that, I'm just coming from a humble background based on only like trying and failing so far. But
Yeah.
that focus on the incentive structures is so key because let me close some of these tabs because I heard about this insurance company. I think it's called uh, something to do with lemon. I think it's called Lemon Insurance or something. Lemonade Insurance. I think Peter Diamandis talks a fair bit about this. So they are doing something like this. They have like a more smart. I haven't looked at this, so we're kind of looking at this together for the first time. But they keep their prices low based on the fact that they incentivize their policyholders to share more data about them, and based on how well the policyholders are taking care of them is what determines their premiums, or right. And
Great.
I think how this works, I could be wrong about this because they may have changed their business model. I could be completely wrong about my interpretation, but I think this is kind of building up on this. Um,
Yeah, and come to the, and data is even money. Data is money. Researchers can go to a certain health facility and try to pull data like, okay, how many women die this month? How many neonatal deaths? Maybe how many pregnant women are checked for hemoglobin? All these data, the point is, people whom provide this kind of data does not even get anything. So let's assume that maybe a time may come, maybe through the project, mothers can monetize their health data. So for instance, a researcher can come and maybe be on the Quemban protocol. Okay, we need data for maybe women who were checked for hemoglobin. And because we have already captured that kind of data, if maybe they pay maybe the company this kind of money can be distributed to the women because it is their information that we are giving to this kind of researchers. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
because basically
sorry.
whether we like it or not, these hospitals or insurance are selling our data. So what about if though we can find ways and means for this kind of mothers to monetize their personal health information, not
Absolutely.
like giving it to everybody, but
Yeah,
all the security protocols will come into place and the women will have some kind of consent. Okay, this woman, this maybe researcher want to know people's maybe height, pregnant women's height, pregnant women's age.
yeah,
Do you consent? We
that's right.
provide that kind of information.
Yeah,
Oh, yes. Then if maybe there is some kind of money given to the company, those kind of money can be distributed to women who took part in that kind of survey.
yeah. No, so you're hitting on some very solid points because I mean, I don't want to focus on the negatives, but unfortunately, we've been living in a reality the past couple of years whereby companies feel like they can just do whatever they want with the data they're collecting. This is
Of
like
course.
this is the ongoing debate with regards to how companies actually make their products available. Unfortunately, some companies make products available for free. When they collect the data, they literally just do whatever they want with it, and there are huge repercussions
Mm-hmm.
towards something like this. Fortunately, what is also going on is there are companies and models and technologies evolving, particularly in the blockchain and narrow AI space, to solve that specific problem. I was just starting to look into this, so there's some very interesting developments happening in this space. I can't name specific companies because I'm not
Oh,
super
I do
well versed in
understand.
this space. But like I was beginning to appreciate what you're just saying because some of these companies allow you to be very precise about what kind of data you can pull in, and the keyword is consent. So as long as
Mm-hmm.
customer consents towards their data being shared, then you can build on top of that and say, okay, well, this data is going to be shared this way with this many subset of tertiary parties, let's call them. And this is the
Sure.
incentive you could get. On top of that,
Mm-hmm.
your information will be anonymized, privacy will be protected. And
Absolutely.
that is precisely where the blockchain comes in because you can do so many things with something like, and I'm coming from a very uneducated perspective, but
Yeah, of
just
course.
just reading this book, this goes back to this book I read. I think this is the best book I've read on this topic, and I've only read uh, a handful of books on this right now. Actually, there's one I've been more interested in the money markets more recently.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna try and like read this one next. But yeah, otherwise I've been just like reading up on like obviously with the crypto boom, I've been reading up on
Mm-hmm.
online on Wikipedia. On just like I don't go very heavy on this because our startup keeps us massively busy. But it's this. I
Great.
think blockchain is definitely here to stay. I think this
Oh,
personally,
absolutely.
yeah. I think the founder of Ethereum. I don't support or not support Ethereum. I don't know much about it. I've never made a DApp, but I think he's
Mm-hmm.
right. He's a Canadian guy, Vitalik Buterin, and he's saying that
Mm-hmm.
the blockchain could potentially replace. It could be the computing architecture of the future in as little as 10 years, and I could see it happening. I could see just instead of getting our computations from companies, we would get it from each other.
Yeah, even even talking about healthcare medication, I have to be so convinced that a time may come that if I go to a pharmacy, I use my phone and I'll scan the barcode and I know that this drug is coming from an authentic, verifiable uh, FDA approved facility.
That's right.
So that if I'm taking the medicine, I don't think of maybe if fine, there might be side effects, but I absolutely know that, okay, this is where because there are so many products in the market. And again, you can't figure out that, okay, this is from this or this is from that. So if there is some kind of technology that will enable us to track all this kind of, let's say with that, it's like, it's not about one person have gone to a certain place to do it quietly. It is a protocol and everybody on the platform knows what is going on. So you have nothing to hide, you
Yeah,
know?
no, it actually reminds me of another use case from this book. Surprisingly, my memory is working today, and they were talking. I think
Yeah.
they were talking about like coffee or some kind of agriculture related product, and they were like, well, with blockchain you could track where the beans came from, who was paid when it comes to the production of this, how much were they paid, was it really organic, was it really what is the other one, pesticide free. You could track all of these things, and it would be really hard to manipulate that data because the data would just be feeding in automatically.
Yeah, you
And
can.
yeah, and it leaves less and less margin to be able to kind of like you know um I can't think of
Yeah, and
it's all great transparent.
basically the one of the use case of the project, I talk about population health. Most, if you go to UNICEF, if you go to UNICEF, their records of maybe maternal death and maybe neonatal death is different from WHO, is different from other organizations. So with this kind of blockchain technology or with this kind of project that I'm embarking, at least if all health facilities come on board, then we'll be able to know that precisely, because the point is people manipulate data
For sure. Yeah.
just to suit, because, you know, for instance, a certain health facility might record high mortalities of maybe newborn deaths, but they will not put all the kind of data in their system because it will signal a red flag. Why is it that many people are dying on your health facility? But with this kind of blockchain technology, once everybody is involved, the precise number of data will be recorded so that at the end of the day, people will be able to understand that, okay, this is true. So it is useful. And for instance, in terms of country, maybe donors or healthcare policy might try to know that, okay, these are the number of children that we have in this kind of country. And if there is kind of any kind of healthcare interventions, these are what we are budgeting for. Not like, okay, there is random data and we have to speculate any kind of budget for that kind of program.
Yeah, no, man. I think it's going to be very interesting as I think the next 10 years are going to be very interesting because I think what I could be wrong about this, but basically data could be shared more securely, ensuring the individual's privacy. And once that data is shared, we will find so many insights across so many different areas.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and the thing that's going to happen is it's gonna be basically AIs designed for that purpose, as well as humans working with AIs to find these insights. I think we're going to find a lot of efficiencies in the system, and who knows, we may find like totally new insights.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we are basically, in addition to our inroad into, if I may talk a little bit about what we're working on, our long-term goal is to move a lot of the agriculture away from earth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. We're going to see how that goes. But you know, I think we're going to need that because we're depleting a lot of the topsoilers, a lot of problems that we're starting to see with a lot of things. So this is in the domain of sustainability, but
Mm-hmm.
but the goal is to tackle malnutrition basically, and that's the whole litmus towards going to space. And because if we just roll out a healthcare policy, it doesn't solve the other problems because malnutrition is a big driver of diseases. So that's one thing we want to solve. And to come back to the blockchain aspect, like I'm all for this, and you know, anything that helps us find more efficiencies in the future. So one thing with malnutrition, if I may share this example, this is what I want to share with you is, right now we're throwing tons and tons of food in North America, potentially around the world. It's dumped.
Mm-hmm.
You can Google it. You can just put it on YouTube. Food dumped by farmers, and just go through this listing in the past 12 months after COVID. And this
yes, actually, the last time I was even talking about this kind of project that you are, because even edible waste, you know, the word is talking about is like, oh, food shortage and the rest. But edible waste that is wasted at the restaurant, is tons.
Yeah.
So why are we talking about food security?
Exactly.
If there are about tons of food going waste, it's not a matter of post harvest losses. No. It's a food that is, because I've worked at a restaurant before, and you know something.
I was gonna plug
maybe there is a buffet. Maybe there is a buffet, and after the buffet, it's not about what people have already left, because the buffet, they do everything and seal it, like maybe one food, like if it is potatoes, they will do it about 20. And it will interest you to know that they will serve with only 3 pans. The rest of about the 17 will go to waste.
Yeah, yeah, that's pre-COVID, man.
So it's some kind of crazy.
To build up on that, post-COVID, what has happened is the restaurant sales have taken a massive hit because people are not eating in the restaurants. It's all takeout. So what is the if you go up a level, the farmers, it's got like 40 to 50% of their produce is not going in the supply chain. So what the
Mm-hmm.
farmers have they're going to grow more for 2022, but in 2020 they had already put in their regular, but half the production was not, half the consumption was not there. So just started digging out big mounds, or like they just started digging out massive amounts of
Mm-hmm.
earth, dumping potatoes and stuff like that in there. But what I was thinking is, we have a people are going hungry right now.
Yes,
So, so,
of course.
so that produce could have just been redirected. You could sell it at cost. You don't have to
Yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
take a loss.
I even make some kind of uh, proposal. I didn't publish it. I was writing something that reducing cost of menu at restaurants. So I
Mhm.
was just trying to figure out that
I'm gonna,
if this kind of, I was just trying to figure out if this kind of food are wasted, and if restaurant people will reduce the prices of menu for everybody to get chance to maybe get the food to eat, was still was still the restaurants get revenue or get their profit. I was just trying to figure out, because the kind of food that is wasted is too much. It's too much.
yeah, I mean, it's a tragedy because people are going hungry around the world, and we've always known about this, but it's becoming more prominent now after COVID. Because,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, that's like it looks like we have another thing we could like talk about at the very
Oh
least.
yeah, yeah, fine. Maybe we can just brainstorm on it and come out with something.
Yeah, I would love your take on this at another time. So I guess
Mm-hmm.
to wrap up, we've been talking for about an hour. So
Yeah.
so my question to you is, what's next? What's the game plan look like for the next 6 months to 1 year? Uh, what are your plans in a nutshell? Are you thinking of raising a round, thinking of hiring? Uh, what do you need help with specifically?
Yeah, right now,
And most
I'm
importantly,
not first of all,
oh,
but the most important thing is like I have to develop a minimum viable product,
okay.
because and I'm not a technical person. So first of all, I need a blockchain developer, and not just as a team member. It's not a matter of just a blockchain developer, but somebody who have if the person doesn't even necessarily have a health background, the person try to understand the vision of the project and try to work together to bring the minimum viable product out for people to evaluate and see the community engagement. So basically, from now up to the maybe 6 months ahead of me, that's what I'm working, just to get a dedicated a blockchain developer who understands the whole program. And if it's a matter of commitment to do some kind of maybe equity splitting, my main focus is not financially. Everybody does work because of money, but the value to provide, that is try to develop systems to track the perinatal health data to make sure that all pregnant women receive their necessary care, and this will also serve as maybe audit. So like we can just come out with the fact that if this pregnant woman indeed receive all the care and unfortunately lose her life, then it gives them another thought, what might have caused the death. So like you said, basically right now I need a developer who we can co-fund and try to uh, go ahead from there.
Okay, I was taking notes while you're talking, and I think you were also talking about a data scientist, because when you were talking about things like, getting to the root causes, um,
Mm-hmm.
once you start collecting the data, you're going to need somebody who is, you're not just going to need data scientists, you're going to need data analysts to be able
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Actually, I'm even, as part of my course, I do data analysis, but I didn't do the programming aspect. If if the figures are there, I'll be able to analyze it, right? But you know, this kind of data scientists, sometimes they know programming just to extract the data. And fine, if the raw data are there, I can use Excel to project the graph and those kind of stuff. But basically, and even it is a course that maybe I have enrolled in. Have you heard Simply Learn? There is a certain online course like Coursera. We call it Simply Learn, and I've even enrolled. I wrote certificate program in data science. And basically, like you said, fine. Basically, if the project, I'll be doing the day-to-day activities of the project. So even though if after completing the course as data scientist, I may not be able to create that kind of role to do that kind of analysis. So basically, I might also need the data science. But after all, if the data science bring that kind of data to me, for me, I'm a data analyst myself. So I'll be able to know the true picture of the information. So I think basically these two human resources so important at this initial stage of the project startup, a developer,
well,
and maybe.
It definitely helps to talk the talk and walk the walk when you can. Your many years of background in data analysis is going to be pivotal in attracting the right set of talent. I want to share something with you. Can I share my screen? And
yeah, you can.
So thank you. And I'm gonna remind me to introduce you to Ryan. He's I personally think he's the next Elon Musk.
Wow.
Yeah, the tall claim, but he needs to realize that. So you know, I'm trying my best to tell him, man, you got to start this thing. You know what I mean? He's got terrific ideas, and
wow,
this guy will change the world. I have no doubt about this. I mean, I love talking to him. You know, he's, you know, he's definitely the Rockefeller material. I think. So I'm going to introduce you to Zernak. You can at least talk to him and run your data science strategy by him. So
great.
He's teaching at Trilogy College right now. He went to Lambda School. He took math and comp sci in school. I think it's math and comp sci combination. And he loves updating his website, as you can see.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
I'm
let me write the name.
Yeah, so it's I'll put it in the chat log too. It's ryan.zernak.com.
Okay.
Very good person. You know, like I said, I love talking to Ryan. He's absolutely you know, a wonderful fellow. And the other thing I wanted to share with you is I was thinking about this today because I was sharing something on another with somebody else. So this is a good book. I got it from the library. If you have a library near you, odds are this book is also in the library. It's called Sprint, How to Solve Big Problems and Test New Ideas in just 5 days. So this guy, he used to work at Google Ventures. I don't get anything out of supporting this, by promoting this, by the way, any one of these things.
Oh, of course.
I don't know these people. Like, I know Ryan, but I don't know Jake, right? I don't know these two guys who wrote this book, but it's a good book. And it takes you to a systematic mechanism of validating your idea in a very short amount of time. And they have use cases like Blue Bottle Coffee, Savvy Oak Robotics, which is basic. I was looking at this as well. So these basically they make mobile robotics. And you know how they validated this idea? They literally put a cardboard on wheels or something like that. They put wheels underneath the cardboard platform, and then they stuck an iPad on top. And they got the permission from the hotels because they wanted to they started in concierge in hotels. And so then they went up after the managers and owners permission to a hotel room. They knocked on the thing. They said, this is our robot, you know, long story short. And that person had called the front desk to say, I need some new toothbrush or something like that, towel or something. So they said, then they put a cavity in the robot's body. The toothbrush came out of it, or towels. I don't know what it was. It's been a while since I read the book. So basically they tested the idea of spending zero money, literally zero money. They already had the iPad, I'm assuming, right?
Great.
So this is a very good mechanism for testing ideas. And this reminds me of man, I learned this the hard way. So if you were gonna
Of course.
take one thing out of talking to me today, remember to keep talking to customers. Because I didn't do this with my previous startup.
Mm-hmm.
It was very painful. This sums my 5 years so far. Whatever Steve Blank says here, this is my 5 years of pain. It's in the avoidable category. I could have avoided that pain by talking to
Mm-hmm.
customers regularly. Please, please, please talk to customers regularly. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
this could be one of the customer discovery interviews. I guess like I'm not your direct customer, so you need to develop the business model canvas and run a systematic step by step, like a systematic approach towards finding your customers. And you got to talk to your customers regularly. It's very, very important
Of
because
course.
we are not Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs could bend reality and create products. People like you and me, we need to talk to customers. At least I have.
Yeah, it's true.
So this is this. I thought I'd share this with you. So happy to make the introductions to Ryan, and I hope you. Yeah. So I would say run a sprint. Run a sprint. Okay. So man, great talking to you today. We connected very organically. We
Yeah.
connected. We were exchanging some messages, and I'm like, let's talk. Let's talk, and we were up and running within a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I enjoyed the conversation, and it's like, one step ahead to success. And Rome was not built in a day, and basically you don't know until you try. And basically, fine, we call somebody called Elon Musk, not because fine he is genius, but the point is, if he didn't execute it, nobody would have known him. So Jeff Bezos have ideas. If he didn't execute it, nobody have known him.
That's right.
All the successful Bill Gates and the rest. So basically, we strive to reach there, but the point is, we start from the basis. So
Absolutely,
this
man.
initial call, I really appreciate because it has put me from from 0 up to maybe 0.1 or maybe 1.
Yeah,
But I
zero,
know
zero,
you
zero
built
point zero
upon
one.
it.
And I do simple things. I send my teammates. I am like I bought these toys for them. I'm like we have a
Mm-hmm.
engineer working
Oh,
in
wow.
space, so I bought him a space related toy, and Enda is working on healthcare side of things. So I'm like, man, before we start building the healthcare
Wow.
facilities, I don't know if we're going to build healthcare facilities. We want to go virtual, but if we do, I'm
Of
like,
course.
this is the first thing, right? Like imagine we're working with Caterpillar and we have a coin, or I don't know how it's going to work out. I honestly, I don't know. I don't have this all figured out, but we were hoping to.
Yeah, actually, that's the whole that's the drive and the energy. You don't know until you try.
I have no
So
idea. Like, I have no
you
idea
know,
how this is going to change. How
one
much
thing
pivots we have to make.
one thing about one that motivates me a lot is a certain speech Jeff Bezos said. When he was coming to establish Amazon,
Mhm.
one thing that motivates him was, if by 80 years, what he thought of doing, he realized that he didn't try, and it's like, oh, people have that kind of idea. You want to minimize his,
That's the one.
because after all, the point is, first of all, he was working, and he's professional. So basically, if maybe Amazon didn't work, by all means, as a genius, he might find another way. So you won't sit there by trying to say, okay, no, this will not work. Why don't you try?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
basically,
Let me share the screen because I already have your permission. Unless you
yeah, of course.
reject it. So in that case,
No, I won't.
You are referring to the regret minimization framework.
Yes, I like that. Regret immunization framework. Yeah, that's it. And it's like, and that has motivated me in whatever I do. And among my peers, it's like they see it to be like you don't have patience, but they don't know it. They don't know that it's a matter of trying. Because for me, I want to enter into the scene as fast as possible, so that if it doesn't support me, then I leave. Than rather to wait and it's not successful. It's waste of time. And even if you also try early, then people will come on board, and people who believe in the idea will try to support you. So you never know until you try.
I agree 100%, man. I think Tim Draper said it in the Startup Heroes. It goes something like, whether you believe you can or you cannot, you are right either way. Right?
Absolutely.
So
because you can justify it.
and honestly, as an entrepreneur is difficult. I'm not like Elon. If you talk to Elon Musk, who I've never met and never communicated with, Elon would say, "Oh, I never thought of quitting." Elon talks about that often, and I think about quitting. Honestly, I think I'm like, why am I doing this? Because I could just invest my money and just retire if I wanted to pursue my life.
I like that kind of drive. I haven't thought of quitting because popular saying, quitters don't win and winners don't quit. In this,
no, I think of retiring.
I heard something.
I would retire and do the same work, but but
the point is that as Warren Buffett's fire, I'm not quoting straight. He said, the world is not looking for like average. The world is looking for people who do something. And the difference between ordinary person and extraordinary person is the word extra. What are you doing different? So the difference between you and I is like, now you are wearing hats. I'm not having. So if the hat is having a value, you will have bypassed me. You know what I mean? So that's all that we can do.
Yeah. So I'm gonna share one last thing with you. I really like what this fellow once said. I'm not gonna be able to do justice. This guy's former DAE. So I found out about him because I took an online. I started following Navy SEAL Commander Coach Mark Devine. Oh, I didn't share my screen yet. So this is the fellow, Gregory Amundsen, former DEA, former police. He's a couple of he wears a couple of hats: pastor, bodybuilder, chiropractor, naval officer, as you can see. So one of the things Amundsen said, which really stuck with me, was, and I've always kind of been like this. I'm like a basics kind of guy, and I think Amundsen said something like, success is about a lifetime's worth of commitment towards mastering the basics. Something, I'm not paraphrasing it 100%, but it was something to that effect. What he was saying,
yeah, of course,
you got to do the basics and you got to do them really well. And I try to do that, man. I really
you build upon it.
Yeah, I really try. At least I build my systems. I'm doing the meditation every day. I'm doing my gratitude log. I'm doing my, I'm falling behind on exercise. I eat healthy. I try to be like, really improve on the interpersonal side of things. I used to be horrible here, man. I used to be like total type A, get stuff done. I don't used to care about like interpersonal skills. Were like, I'm like, no, I just like, you're wasting your time. So why am I even talking to you? I used to, you know what I mean? I wouldn't say that, but you would see it in my body language. But I guess as now I'm 40 plus, but basically you learn, and you learn people are different. They go at different, there's different neurodiversity basically, and different ways of looking at the world, different different cognitive architectures. Anyways, what I'm saying is basics. Investing in the basics has served me very well. And I really love your energy.
Like a building, the foundation is the most important. So, and basically cut across whatever you do.
Yeah,
the foundation. You start from the basis.
You can make it really fancy, put a really awesome amount of lights on it, but if the foundations are not right. So we're talking the same language, man. Hey, man. I love your energy, and we need to talk more, because I like the fact that you want to bring some urgency to this as well. I really like that, but I feel like it is something we need to talk about a little bit more, and maybe one-on-one, offline. or maybe online?
Yeah, well, the point is what the reason why I appreciate this kind of meeting so much in such a way that, sometimes your circles doesn't even know what you want to do and the rest. So trying to get somebody who just want to know what you are after and try to support you to bring it from the grassroots, it's like more or less is the mentor, because the point is throughout the conversations, even something that I don't even know, even at first the concept was trying to do digitized babies, like in such a way that, like, fine, even though it will not be actual babies, but the point is, as soon as maybe they come out with their healthcare interventions and they complete it, maybe their value will be very. So somebody just like, okay, people, in more ethical way, people, even though it's not their right, it's not actual babies, maybe you want to tokenize, but people will feel that it's like you want to sell their babies, quote and unquote. So at any point in time, like you are saying, it puts me on the right directions and try to bring, maybe try to uh, design it in such a way that the communication, or like you said, the value proposition is so authentic in such a way that, like one of my mentor, virtual mentor, is called Dan Lack. It calls something irresistible offer. So as soon as your customers got the value proposition, they can't resist it. Like the value proposition for iPhone, you can't resist it. You know what I mean? Is the experience? I said the product. I said the experience is the product, and I like that value proposition. He said the experience is the product.
Yeah,
So
Brian Solis, man. I don't know if you know of Brian Solis. He's written a book called X. He's all about the customer experience, and it was a good segue into Jobs. Steve Jobs used to say, design is not about how a product looks; it's about how it's designed, and also about how it makes people feel. So Solis kind of builds up on that. He's trying to encapsulate all the three things
yeah,
Jobs used to talk about. But he's Solis is all about what you just said.
yeah, it's great. So right now, at the end of the day, my main goal is, okay, the project is in progress. The business has been established. The goal of reducing neonatal death as a result of the product, is it bringing the effects that maybe the project or the business was trying to solve? And if it is bringing the effect, it's not like the project. The customers will bring it out and say, hey, we find this kind of project and we are into it and it's helping us. Yeah.
So not to take away from that conversation, one thing I'd like to share with you, this is something I've gotten into this year, and I've shared my screen again with your permission, is
Yeah.
books written by the following author. And he was kind enough to gift me these books. I actually emailed him and he's like, oh, just take my books. So I
The
can't share
wealth
them.
mindset. I love this.
Yeah, I can't share them with you because he shared them with me and it would, So I'm big on mindset in general with regards to what Carol Dweck has to say on this stuff. But I read this book, man, and there's something here. And it's a very short read. You can read it in a couple of days. So I really recommend you try this book
Okay.
because I think that would be really beneficial for not just you, anybody. Because I think with the way automation is coming, work is going to look. I think people who thrive at work are going to be people who are more relaxed. I'm not saying relax all day.
In contest.
Yeah, so you got to work relax, and they say like when you work 25 minutes focused attention, and I haven't shared my other. This is my gift to you actually for talking to me today.
Okay.
So if you haven't read this book, I'd like to gift you this book. Is one of my absolute favorites. Just send me an email saying this is your email where you want to receive it on Amazon's Kindle. You don't have to install anything. Just read it on the app or on the.
Yeah, actually, the email I give to you on my LinkedIn is my email.
Okay, so if you accept, I would like to give you this as a gift. It would be my
Okay,
honor.
thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, man. This book changed a lot of things for me, and I'm not going to
Mm-hmm,
talk a lot about this. I will just let you absorb it over. Don't read it fast. Read it over like 2 months, 3 months. Read it a little bit,
mm-hmm.
and try to do the things Newport is recommending. And I would you it, amazing book that a lot of people have recommended it, including Coach Mark Devine. So I guess
Mm-hmm.
one I don't want to close on this note, but I also like hesitate asking you because we didn't rehearse this interview, number one. And I didn't ask you if I can ask you this question.
Yeah, you can.
Well, let me so I guess what's your spiritual practice, like if I may ask? Like well,
Yeah,
what's your look on the
actually,
world?
actually, basically, I'm not, I'm denominational.
Okay.
I've got, I've gone to Christian church before. It's like basically I'm a Christian, but uh, I'm reserved to be like calling a Christian or Muslim or Buddhist or because the truth is, at the end of the day, one thing I just realized is all these kind of religious bodies believe in one God, and I don't want to so be attached to be like I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I'm a Jewish, or fine. As a human being, you have to make a stand.
Yeah.
But I don't want some kind of beliefs distract me in such a way that, okay, Muslims say that you have to wash yourself when you go to a certain part, or Christians say it's not necessary or doesn't. But the truth is, okay, I'm a human being. What is necessary for me? So basically, I believe in I believe in God as the creator of heavens and earth. And every day I bow my heads. It's like basically, if I'm praying, I like to pray like a Muslim, like trying to bow my heads on the ground and pray. And basically, if there is nothing, what I just got from that is like, oh, I just want to pay some kind of reverence to the Almighty God that is the creator of earth. So
Okay.
basically, I can't pinpoint that, okay, let me say I'm a Christian because sometimes I go to church, but I'm not a regular uh, church goer.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Sounds like somebody used this term with me. They called it descriptive psychology. I totally don't
Yeah,
understand what that means, but they
yeah,
explained it something like I'm this for a period of time, and then I move to this, and then I want to go explore something else. Hey, man, I think you sound very open-minded. So props to you for your open-mindedness, which I think is going to be very pivotal and important for you to roll out your uh, startup across, your mission actually is to save lives. And I'm really happy to have met you. To answer that question myself, I was, I'm pretty non-denominational myself. I keep an open mind though. There could be alien
yeah, of course.
intelligences out there who are God-like. I don't believe in a traditional definition of God, but
Yeah, one thing I just realized is because if I think of, especially the country that I coming from, I come from Ghana, and they are full of most the two religious bodies controlling Christians and Muslims.
okay.
But that country is not developing as compared to Chinese or Korea or other countries that do not believe in Jesus Christ. So if it were me, do I have to say that, okay, if I'm going to maybe do business with a Chinese or maybe a Korean because it's not a Christian, that means it's not good. The people are not Christians, but they are developing. So
Hmm.
the bottom line is, the whole concept is, and I just got it from one man called Sadhguru. Sadhguru,
Yes, yes,
yeah.
not good.
He said it's like
I'm aware of
don't be a
Sadhguru.
source, don't be a source of creation, be a creator.
Hmm.
Because the point is, man, God has given clay to everybody. Clay is a natural resource. Okay, God has given us everybody trees. But do you know the reason why people are rich than others? The person who can convert the tree into furnitures is richer.
That's right.
So the natural resources, if it is tree, it's there for everyone, whether you are a Buddhist, whether you are a Christian, whether you are Jewish, whether you are what, trees are there for everyone.
Yeah.
So God does not discriminate that, okay, if you're a Buddhist and you go and take a tree to
Yeah.
make a furniture, it won't be a furniture. Or if you're a Christian and you go and take a tree to do a furniture, the most important thing is, yesterday, I was just trying to find out, it's like economics definition of as like, okay, we have scarce resources. So I try to, as much as possible, to try, do we even have scarce resources? But to my understanding, we don't have scarce resources.
No, man, we're
Because
gonna
everything on this earth is abundant. Is it human being? Is it water? Is it air? Is it trees? Is it land? Everything is abundant.
No, it's coming, man. I'm a huge believer of the coming age of abundance.
Yes.
This is another solid
So
book.
far as it's money. So the point is, if everything is abundant, why are people getting more than others?
No, we're going into radical abundance. I read this book 6 years ago. It changed a lot of things for me, and I think hundreds of millions of people should read this book because everything that was written in this book is coming true right now. It's not 20 years out, and I predict.
Yeah.
My personal prediction is it's not in the book that in 20 years we will not need money because life is going. There's going to be so much abundance. Everyone's going to be living like a life of a person today who has 10 million.
Yes, I agree absolutely. The point is, it's like, I haven't read the book, but I was trying to figure out, it's like this kind of economic term just came into my mind, scarce resources. So I just try as much, our gold scarce, our water scarce, but I came to a conclusion that it's lack of resourcefulness.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I said, everybody seems to be like a source of creation. So they can invent anything. But people who see themselves as creators, because how on this earth, well, maybe Elon Musk say that I want to occupy Mars. But the point is, it's possible because everything is in abundance.
Yeah, I don't
so
think
why can't I do it?
He says make life interplanetary, but I guess you're referring to the fact that how like that seems like a difficult thing to do. Like
yes,
yeah.
But I came to realize that it's not like a matter of scarce resources, but it's a matter of trying to what will you do to get that? That it's like it's abundant. So the point is, it's like, okay, if I'm hungry, I have to eat. So food is abundant, but the point is, some food you can't eat it raw. So it's a matter of trying to find ways and means to cook it. So it's like money. Are money scarce? No. Even it comes from the word currency. It's a flow. So the point is, why is it that people have and others that doesn't have?
This is a longer debate. I mean, our planet definitely needs some interventions with the biosphere, with the topsoil, with the forest, with climate change, with healthcare, many interventions in the healthcare space, with human rights. There's huge issues we're dealing with, human rights, human trafficking at that. There's a lot of issues, but the world's also getting better. And I think when it comes to the whole abundance and the opposite, I think it's just it's our thinking. So we have like a lot of planets in the inner solar system. We just got to figure out how to get there. So and we are making good progress here, and we are personally also invested in this space. I can't talk too much about it.
Of course,
we're the kind of people we work in. I personally don't like a lot of attention. That's what I think.
I know.
So we like to just do our work, and we wish to. We also have a Lao-Z kind of approach. Lao-Z, Lao-Za, I don't know how you say it. So at least that's how I think I operate. We I just want to leave a world slightly better. But it's not something I'm like, oh, in 20 years it's gonna be like this. If I go out for a walk, I pick up a little bit of trash.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to
Yeah,
keep
it's
things
not,
simple.
I think, you know, uh, this generation is like, if you read history, this generation has gone far than the previous generations. And I think this generation is just putting out some kind of systems. And the reason why, even though blockchain technology, I'm not a technical person, cryptocurrency and the rest, I'm not a technical person, but I don't have huge investment in those kind of currencies and the rest. Fine, I do have little in Bitcoin and the rest. But my main point is, it's like, there was something called barter trade. Okay, people put in
Barter.
these goods, people take it. Then it changed into what we call something else. It comes to fiat. So the point is, even though, and now people are talking about this kind of cryptocurrency. Fine, we do have schemes and scams and those kind of stuff. But whatever the case may be, it's not different from holding our debit cards. And even these debit cards and the credit cards, people can scam you. So we are moving from that kind of stage in transfer of money from barter trade to fiat. A time may come that at the end of the day, you need not to hold any kind of money in your pocket. So
I
if like
I can see it happen.
if robbers come and meet you fine in poor communities whereby there is no system to guide and people can rob you whilst you are traveling, the person might even beat you for free because the point is, I don't have anything on my pocket.
Yeah, no,
So,
one thing Peter talks about this. Aluminum used to be more expensive than gold. So I'm going to share
mhm,
this on the screen if I may. So
yeah,
I haven't verified this, but there was a time in history that aluminum was more precious than gold and silver. And today
oh,
we throw it
that's
in the, everybody throws it in the trash. I personally don't use a lot of aluminum because there were some reports it's linked to Alzheimer's. So, you know what I mean? But I mean, my computer's made out of aluminum. That's different. It's not
mhm,
I'm putting it in my mouth when you wrap your food with it and everything. But man, this is one indicator. Like imagine in history, this metal was more precious than gold.
precious than gold.
And I this is the reason why, like looking at trends like this, I personally predict that uh, there's going to be some form of money. The value will change. I'm not saying there's going to be
Mhm,
not any need at all, but I think the most precious thing right now is relationships.
of
And,
course,
and my goal in life is to just be a good father and find my next wife. So if anyone's watching
absolutely.
this, I am still single.
Oh,
I
absolutely. Yeah, uh,
just want to find a good person.
if if you will know when you find her.
Oh, yeah,
You will
okay.
know when you find her.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
You
pretty open, man.
you haven't found her because you haven't seen her, but it works like a magic that as soon as that person comes into your life, you will know that definitely this is the right person. Because do you know something? One clue that you have to take into consideration is like your dreams. It's not a matter of
Can you say that again?
trying to.
There was some static on the call. Can you say that again? Sorry, just the 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's like the person will believe you, believe in your dreams. Oh, is that is the
Yeah, it's
connection
good now. It's
okay?
good now. It's good now.
Yeah, the person will believe in your dreams, try to help you to achieve what you want to achieve. And then that you know that this is you will see
Hmm.
it's a matter of time.
Yeah, true love is hard to find. I guess that's a good litmus for a relation. This is going in a very different direction, but I think if
Yeah.
somebody in this world has found somebody who's going to stick around with them, doesn't matter if you lost your job
Mhm,
or economy is up or down or you went into seasonal depression, man, you have something. That person has something very precious. I'd say hold on
mhm.
to that, my friend, because that is exactly the kind of thing you would need now and in the future, not just in the future. That's the beautiful thing about life. good,
Of
wholesome,
course.
quality relationship. The mistake
Mm-hmm.
I guess a lot of humans make instead, like I may have made this as well. We expect the partner to do everything when we don't make investment ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pressure. You improve on this, you improve on that, you improve. So it comes from not just improving your standards, but your game or whatever you want to call it, your way of living, but just those
Yeah,
open honest communication
that's the
every
fine.
day.
I call it asset. That's the precious asset relationship. That's
For
the
sure, man.
precious because at the end of the day, it puts you in the. The point is, irrespective of we having all these kind of ideas. Actually, I do have that kind of idea. Fine, sometimes I discuss with my wife, but I've been able to appreciate you a much because of the relationship that you want to establish with me in such a way that at the end of the day, you are buying into my dream. So like, the first person even talking about this kind of the first person that you have to see is somebody that you are saying, well, that is the person who motivates you that, hey, where you are going is successful. And you need somebody who have the spirit of driving that, no matter what, even if you fall, I'm falling with you.
That's
You
it,
know
man.
what
That's it.
I
Oh,
mean?
that's exactly what I was talking
Yes,
about.
because,
That's yeah.
because mhm,
That's exactly it.
yeah.
That's precious. That is precious. Because that is you. I don't know how you would engineer that. I have no idea. Even if I could engineer something like this, I
Mhm,
don't know what the ethics would be. I wouldn't do
yeah.
that. So if somebody's out there, this is going on a very
Mhm,
different direction. If you found somebody to love you and they love you back, not expecting anything in return, my friend, that is precious. Man, I think we should end on that note because I don't want to
yeah, it's
say
true.
anything other than that. So hey man,
Great.
like it's so great to connect with you. Should I call you Don or Danza? I should have asked you before.
Yeah, my first name is Lawrence, but
Oh
many people prefer calling me my last name, and that's
yeah,
and that's that's cool with me. I like my last name.
yes, you're the Don.
Yeah, I actually I wish maybe I can transpose it to be my first name. It's like
No man, your
uh,
first name is just great.
mhm.
And your last name is even like it's great. Hey man, just let's keep in touch. Like we're in the same space, so I'm certain, 100% certain we're going to be talking a lot more at some frequency. And that's what I'd like, some regular frequency of contact with you because we're in the same space. And anything I can do to assist, just let me know. You're thinking of doing this, thinking of that. I could probably save you some money because you may just go and hire somebody, and that may not be the route. Which you can like something like a sprint, so I don't know if the strategy I'm going to share with you is going to be the most optimal. So you can always run my strategy by somebody else. But what I'm saying is, happy to assist. Just pick up the phone, give me a call. In the words of Regis McKenna, you will forget yesterday's
Okay,
news, but you will remember what a friend said to you on the phone. So yeah, man,
it's true.
namaste.
It's
Really
true.
awesome talking to you.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Thank you very much.
hey,
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate a lot, and I think that's the genesis, and we'll build upon it.
Genesis is another great word. uh, yeah, it
Yeah,
reminds me
we
of
are just starting.
geneticist. But hey, man,
Mm.
let's talk more. Let's connect in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. See where you're at and how we can help take a coin barn to the next level. Maybe help raise some money, find you a good co-founder. Like good things, or just talk about life, man.
Okay, that's fine. Thank
All
you
right,
so
man.
much.
I'm gonna put this on my YouTube, so I'll send you a link. And hey, man,
Okay,
I was really happy to connect with you today. It
thank
really
you.
we connected a lot of good ground and talked about a
I'm
lot.
happy to.
You have a great Sunday, my friend. Oh, which
Thank
coast are
you.
you on? Are you on the East Coast, West
Yeah,
Coast?
you too. You said,
Are you on the East Coast, West Coast?
do I know even the difference? I'm in Kentucky. I don't know.
Kentucky. So
Mm,
I think you're. What time is it in Kentucky right now?
I think 6 o'clock p.m.
Yeah. Okay. So we're on the same time zone. So you're on the Eastern Seaboard or Eastern time zone, same as me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Eastern. Eastern time zone.
Yeah, so I'm in Toronto. So yeah, we're just like the same time zone. You're just a little south from me.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
So awesome talking to you, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. We will definitely be talking in a couple of weeks. Or in the meanwhile, if you have a question, I'll shoot you my phone number. So just give me a call.
Okay. Thank you.
Brother. Peace out, man.
Bye.
See ya, buddy.
Bye.
Thanks.